Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Almighty Allah, the entirely merciful and the specially merciful. Dear viewers, I greet you with the greeting of peace, a global, a universal greeting that has been used on this planet for many decades and centuries by prophets and messengers of Almighty Allah. It is really the best greeting that has been ever used on this planet. And I think we are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He taught us that how to use this best greeting so that it triggers the issue of peace, and it gives us hope that there is hope among us in our hearts to implement peace in this world so that everybody would be able to enjoy a peaceful life until the hereafter. Dear viewers, welcome to this program. Welcome to Treasures from the Holy Quran. And these are one of the treasures that we just mentioned. This greeting is a kind of mercy from Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He taught us something really essential for us and very beneficial in this world and in the hereafter. And as you know, this greeting will be used in the hereafter as well. So it is something that's really precious, and we should not waste our time selecting this kind of greeting or the other greeting. Yes, there are good greetings, but this one had been selected by Almighty Allah for us, and it has been used by many messengers and prophets. Welcome to this episode. Welcome to Treasures from the Holy Quran. And this is your opportunity to take as many treasures as you can so that you benefit yourself first, and then you share it with other people so others will have opportunity to share what we share with them. This is life. It's just sharing that we had been taught by our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the one who loves his brothers and sisters should share with them what he loves for himself. So if you love anything, and I'm quite sure inshallah you will love this episode and many other episodes, share the content of them. Share the knowledge that you learn with your brothers and sisters so that everybody would be educated and would be able to know the truth and would be able to know His Lord well, and to know whatever the Quran wants us to learn from it. Today we are going to talk about chapter number 29. Perhaps we're going to spend some time more than other chapters, and something good for all of you so that you would always remember it. The ayat of this chapter is very, very small, very short ayat. So it helps us to understand them well, and it helps many of us to memorize them so that you can quote them whenever you want and wherever you want as well. And this is Surah Al-Ankaboot, chapter number 29, and we are in ayah number 2 after the Alif Lam Mim, the beginning of it. Yes, we are going to go to ayah number 2. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Remember that all the time when we deal with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and before we read any surah, we use all the time a'udhu, we make isti'adah, we seek refuge with Almighty Allah. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us support and power to avoid the devils, the shaitan, tricks and traps for us, particularly when we deal with the Holy Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أحسب الناس أن يتركوا أن يقولوا آمنا وهم لا يفتنون. Here it tells us, it talks about a very important topic. Let me translate it first, translate the meaning of it. Do people think that they will be left alone, left aside, because they say we believe and will not be tested? So the theme here is all humans will be tested in a way or another, including the believers. So here you can see, you can imagine how general the ayah is. It talks to people. Do people believe? Do people think just because they said that they are believers, they are no longer under the test? No, they will be tested. Which tells us here the truth that everybody on this planet will be tested, whether they are believers or non-believers. So here you can see the generality of this. It's so wide. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks to everyone, an-nas. Again, the misconception that this book is only for the believers and more specifically is only for Muslims is refuted now. And everybody, every one of those who attend these episodes and many others, they know now that there are tens of ayat that talk to people, talk to mankind, talk to all humans, all of you who live on this planet and who will live in the future and who lived before you, they will be tested. Because this is one of the conditions of life, that you will be tested. So this is the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows who is better than others. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has His own ways. He has plenty of ways of knowing that. But this will be a witness on us. So you pass a test, and then you go to another test, and then another test, and then another test, and so on and so forth, because this is the nature of life. You will be tested, and we will be tested by something. Sometimes it is negative, and sometimes even if it is positive, as people think that money is a positive thing, and in reality it can be a source of a test, a tough test for people, the people who don't use it in a good way, they fail the test. The people who don't use it in the way Allah Himself wants it to be used and to be spent in fail the test. Or sometimes a person is tested on a matter that is tough, that is negative, that like a disease, like death of the favored one, of the close one, or the beloved one. You will be tested by any way Allah wants it. Nobody knows exactly how the test will be, in the form of it, the time of it, but Allah does know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for His own wisdom, He tests us by something positive like money and health and many other ways, and something bad like disease and tribulations and poverty and death of the beloved one and dear one. So all these are different forms of test. But most of the people on the earth are under the impression usually that Allah tests you by poverty only or by negative things that people may think, but Allah tests you by good things as well. by a fortune, by treasures, by many things, by beautiful children, by your wife, by your children, by your neighbors, by your family. We had to be tested. So this is the condition. Once, and this is something perhaps a lot of people may not know it. Believers mostly know it, but the non-believers think that it's such as that. It goes haphazardly. It goes randomly. No, it does not. Everyone, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here includes all humans, all you humans, all of you will be tested. So the ayah here includes all humans and particularly the believers. Because sometimes some believers may think that once they are believers, they are no longer tested. No. And the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and many other ayat in the Holy Quran tells us, even if you are messengers of Allah, if you are prophets from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are tested. In fact, in reality, the more belief you have, the tougher the test is for you. And this is the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala distinguishes between the good believers and the weak believers. Yet, although all of them are in the circle of belief, yet they have to be tested. And as you had seen from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the more strong you are, the stronger you are in your belief, the tougher the test may be for you. And if you examine the history and the life of the prophets, you will find how tough the tests that they have gone through. Look at Ismail alayhi salam, look at Ibrahim alayhi salam. When he was tested to slaughter his beloved son Ismail alayhi salam. What a test. What a test. And we do thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have not gone through similar tests. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of the strong belief of Ibrahim, he tested him. If he is going to succeed and to see his sincerity of his belief, is he going to obey the command of Allah and slaughter his son, or is he going to fail the test? And because, alhamdulillah, of his patience, he passed the test, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved his son and made it a big celebration. And Muslims now, they celebrate this occasion. It did not happen at the time of the Prophet ﷺ. Long before Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, peace be upon him, yes, it happened. And this tells us the continuation of life. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran here depicts the whole situation for us. And this is not something that happens only to this messenger or the other messenger only. No, it happens to everyone who says, I am a Muslim or I am a believer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us, and we do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make the tests for us easy and to give us the patience and the power and the ability to pass these tests and these tribulations. But it's going to happen. This is what we are quite sure of. Then the following ayah. Here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولقد فتنا الذين من قبلهم فلا يعلمن الله الذين صدقوا ولا يعلمن الكاذبين. Not everybody who would say that I am a believer or I'm a good believer is going to pass the test. Some of them will be unable to do that. And here the ayah can be roughly translated as, And we indeed, we here the royal we, that refers to Almighty Allah, and we indeed tested those who were before them. And Allah will certainly make it known the truth of those who are true, and will certainly make it known the falsehood of those who are liars. Although Allah knows all that before putting them to test. It's a very good comment here. Allah knows that before, whether by a test or not. Long before the test, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will let them have this opportunity of passing these tests as long as they are believers, as long as they are human. This is a test. A test for you. When a messenger comes to you and tells you the message from Almighty Allah, and this is one of the tests, big tests. Some people believe the messengers, and most of the people do not. Try to imagine the amount of education that is there in the world, with all its institutions and with all its universities and schools, yet still most of these schools do not prepare people for life, for reality. We know that. So why shouldn't schools teach people that they are going to go to tests? Allah is going to test them, so at least they would know something about their Creator. They would know something authentic about this real life that we go through with. This would be real preparation for people, and it's up to them to pass the test or to fail the test. And this is the beauty of living among believers, and this is the beauty of living in countries that focus, that make a big focus on the issue of belief and falsehood, and how important it is in our lives. Dear viewers, as you have seen, that is, if life is full of tests, what are we supposed to do? We all the time ask the support from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to give us support so that we can pass the tribulation or the tests that we will encounter in our life. And that's what believers do in their dua, in their supplication, and when they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who pass these tests. Ameen, ameen. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين وصل اللهم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.